1949, in the book An Outline of the Psychology. So he defined the subject. Psychology is a science which aims to give us better understanding and control of the behavior of the organism as a whole, not only the human, all as an organism. So all the living creatures. So it's a control of the behavior of the understanding and control of the behavior. So we try to understand the behavior. We try to understand the behaviors of a human being. So not behavior of the organism, not only the human being. So this can be considered as a meaningful definition. So the scientific study of behavior and mental processes in context. So when it comes to the behavior parts, we believe that people can observe the behavior. People can observe the behavior. So by looking at the behavior, we can understand their thoughts. We can understand their mindset. And sometimes we can understand their consciousness or all the mental status by observing the behavior. That is the main idea of this behavior word. So the scientific study of behavior and mental processes in context. And 1913, the J.B. Watson. Actually, he's the father of the behaviorist school. Behaviorism or the behaviorist school is separate school, group of people who accept the behaviorism. So the Watson treated as a father of the behaviorism school or behaviorist school. So school means there are group of scientists, group of psychologists who believe different schools behavior. The Watson and his followers introduced the behaviorism, and they conducted the research to prove the behaviorism, and there were some other schools such as psychoanalysis, cognitivism. There are 5 more schools, so we will discuss about those schools. So he explained the subject, he defined the subject. Psychology is the science of behavior. Very easy to keep in our mind. It's a psychology of the science of behavior. Psychology is the science of behavior. We include human and animal behavior. It's a science of behavior. So we study the behavior scientifically, both human and animal behavior. So this was the accepted behavior, accepted definition for the psychology. So now we want to learn what the behavior is. What is behavior? So we all know any manifestation of life is activity. So we can observe all the activities. That is what the behaviorist argument. Any manifestation of life is an activity. It's an activity. So we can observe that. We can see. We are using different type of techniques, different type of tools, different type of methodologies. Using all these things, we can, right? Motor and all the activities. We can divide into few categories. Motor activities. Definitely, we know motor skills or motor activities uh, most of the times the technology studies or the technology education, we try to develop motor activities. That is the difference of the technology education. We try to develop the skills. Most of the time we try to develop the skills, so motor activities, so talking, walking, dancing, and all the skills which are engaged our sensory organs or the physical uh, organs. So these are motor activities. Definitely, very easily we can study these motor activities. And cognitive activities. What is the meaning of cognitive? Cognition. Cognition is the thinking or problem solving ability, or which are controlled by our brain or head. I think you have heard there are three H's: heard, head, hand, and hand. Can you remember the other H? Head, hand, and head, hand. There are three H. What are those three H? Now you can see two type of it. Motor activities controlled by hand. We can call hand. Not only the hand, other all the other organs uh, collectively control the motor activities, but head head for the cognitive activities, which are coming from our head. Cognitive activities. Cognition is the thinking, problem solving, imagining, reasoning, or creativity. All the cognitive or higher order thinking, higher order cognitions come from the head or the brain. This is the second H, hand, head. Can you tell me the third H, which relate to the third H? Normally, we are talking these three H's. Yes, one uh, answer, I think. Yeah, heart. Good. Ketika. Yeah, heart. Three H are head, hand, and the heart. So how do we develop the heart in the education or in the education system? Can someone tell me how to develop the heart? What does it mean? Motor activities, cognitive activities, and there is another type of activities which which are related with our heart. Hand, we controlled by the motor activities, cognitive activities controlled by the head, and heart, we call it affective. There are three domains to be developed under the education system: head, hand, and the heart. So what are the things that we can add to this heart? Can you think? So I'm expecting your answer. How to develop this heart matter? Any idea? This is called affective activities, affections, or some maybe the feelings, affections, or the thoughts related activities which related to our heart: love, sad, affections, feelings, and all the attitude related matters. Attitudes, we call them attitude. Affective activities: sad, happy, angry feeling, or quality of the work, uh, 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 cleanliness, cleanliness, uh, what else? Neatness, work on time, we call soft skills. That areas directly related to these affective activities, sad, happy, angry feelings. So these three activities we are included under the behavior. There are some more I will explain. So basically motor activities, cognitive activities and affective activities controlled uh, can be observed uh, in the so we can study all these activities. The motor activities will definitely observe. Cognitive activities also by looking at their behavior. Thinking activity we can observe. Problem solving we can study the one's ability of solving a problem. We can observe. Imagination we can observe by looking at their output. Imagination we can ask them to create something. Creativity and reasoning, giving reasons, giving judgments. So all these, there are methods to study all these activities. Affective activities also, whether they are in a sad mood, happy mood, or feelings or some other afflictions. අපි සිංහලෙන් නම් කියනවා ආවේදනාත්මක හැකියාව. නාවේදන අපිට හැඟීම් දැනෙන විදිහ, heart එකට feel වෙන විදිහ we can observe. We can observe the behavior. Sometimes not by looking at the behavior, not only looking at the behavior, but also we can measure their hormone levels using the scientific instruments. We can measure the affective activities. So no doubt we can observe, we can study based on the mentioned what the conscious is. So ideas, thoughts, images, what we can conscious activities, what we are aware. We have the awareness of these activities, conscious ideas, thoughts and images. We know the things that come to our mind, mind, conscious activities. And there are subconscious. With the consciousness did not look at the subconscious activities. Subconscious, just beneath conscious layer, stores all types of information to easily come to the upper level. Now, when it comes to the conscious matter, conscious, no doubt, we all are aware about our feelings, our thoughts, mindset. But when it comes to the subconscious matter, it just beneath conscious layer. So we are not aware about these thoughts, feelings. We are not aware. We don't know that this is in our mind. But that can come to the conscious layer in a different way. So it stores all types of information to easily come upper level. So we store those information, and if we want, we can take it into the conscious layer. සමහර දේවල් අපි තියෙනවා අපිට අමතකයි වගේ කියලා හිතිලා, නමුත් we have stored those information in our inner mind. අපි කියනවා යටිහිතේ තියෙනවා කියලා. යටිහිත called subconscious activities. Subconscious yatihite. We are if we want, we can take it into the upper level, upper level. So experiences and knowledge that are acquired through various types of experiences and learning. So this subconscious part tells or the stored all the experiences and knowledge that we gain in our life. So the experience or the events, incidents, all the experience we store in our inner mind, yatihite. So and the learned matters, our learning part. So we store. කොමාරි වෙලාවක ඒවා උඩට එන්න පුළුවන් so that we can study these behavior, the subconscious activities. And the third type of this conscious matter is unconscious activities. Okay, sorry, something has happened, I don't know why. So you are here, no? There are 39. I think some have left the session. Only 39 is there. No, they are coming, I think. So I don't know the reason. I have left the meeting and it was recorded and converted to the Zoom, so I couldn't join again. So sorry for the delay. So here we were. Can you see the screen now?
Madam, we can see.
Okay, thank you. So we were here. We were discussing about the unconscious matter. So when it comes to the unconscious, yes, we as a place we can see it under the subconscious, and most important part of our mind, the unconscious layer, can be considered as the most important part of our mind. Why is that? Why I said like this, the most important part? Because this is the vast part of our mental life. Vast. This is the very large area. This is a large area, very big area of our mind or the mental, mental life. So this is most important part because all our behaviors ruled from the unconscious mind, governed from the unconscious mind. It controlled our behavior. The unconscious mind may control our behavior. That is why we say that the unconscious mind is the most important part of our mind. Right? It's in a hidden form. It's in a hidden form, and we cannot access the unconscious easily. We cannot access the unconscious easily. It's the hidden part. We are not aware about the content. We are not aware about the content in our unconscious mind, unconscious part. But there are unconscious activities in the dreaming, in our dreaming process may happen with this unconscious matters. Contains all the repressed means the condensed matters, wishes, repressed, අපි තද කරලා අයින් කරගන්නේ ඔය wishes, desires, feelings, drives and motives included into this unconscious mind, unconscious activities. So our repressed or the feelings, motives, drives which we could not satisfy sometimes in our childhood life, in our child. Okay, we were here. We were talking about the unconscious activities in our mind, unconscious behaviors in our mind. So sexual feeling, aggression, or some feelings may affect to our unconscious layer. So these are always not lie in the unconscious. These matters are not always in the unconscious layer. They can come to the upper layers. Upper layers means subconscious or the conscious layers. So here I wanted to take your mind to the Sigmund Freud's iceberg theory. So you just go and search what the iceberg theory. They are these three layers have explained very informatively. So the unconscious matters, unconscious thoughts can come to the subconscious and conscious layers time to time, sometimes in hidden form. So these unconscious matters will affect to our mental health. These unconscious matters will affect to our mental health because it will affect to our mentality or the good well-being of a good health, well-beingness. So these uh, unconscious thoughts, feelings are very important. So sometimes we are not aware about these matters, unconscious matters. We cannot predict, or we cannot understand the thoughts and the feelings which have gone to our unconscious layer because it is in the hidden manner, hidden form, and we cannot reach to that level. But due to the content or the matters stored in our due to the matters stored in our unconscious layer, the we sometimes our mentality may change, our mental health may change. So due to our uh, uh, previous experiences or childhood experience, so it will work as a hidden form in a hidden form, and behavior or the behavior is determined by the forces exist in our unconscious. So our behavior maybe our behavior, all the existing behaviors uh, will shape from our unconscious matters. අපේ යටි සිතේ තැම්පත් වෙලා තියෙන දේවල් අනුව අපේ behavior එක ඒකට matter එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක ඒ අනුව change වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒකයි කියන්නේ unconscious එක අපේ සිතුවිලි වල තියෙන අභ්‍යන්තරයේ අපි සංගවිලා තියෙන අපේ childhood experience මොන හරි other research desires ඒ වගේ දේවල් අපිට බලපාන්න පුළුවන් අපේ existing life එකට. අපි පොඩි කාලේ කාගෙන් හරි තරවටු කරගත්තා නම් සප්‍රෙස් වුණා නම් ඒ වගේ දේවල් වැඩිහිටි වේදී සමහරවිට එළියට එන්න පුළුවන් hidden form එකකින්. We are not aware about the childhood experience, but those experience may stored in our unconscious mind. So sometimes aggressive feelings, sexual abuses, or some unexpected incidents, happenings in our life. So these situations or moments will affect to our existing or the adult life. So abnormal and mental illnesses, abnormal behaviors may be the reason for the from the unconscious mind are also decided by unconscious mind. So abnormalities, abnormal behaviors decided by the unconscious mind. Mental illnesses also decided by the unconscious mind, because it will affect to our mentality or the behavior, abnormal or the normal behavior. So that is why we say that we should give a good environment to the children, because if they receive the bad experience in their childhood, the unconsciously or without any awareness, those bad or negative behaviors stored in their mind, and those behaviors uh, uh, decide their adult life, adult adult life. So the adult behaviors. So there may be some abnormal sexual behaviors, or the abnormal behaviors which related to the mental life. Sometimes some illnesses, mental illnesses, diseases comes with this unconscious matter. So this is very important part in our mental life. So unconscious activities. Psychotherapists. So you know psychotherapists. Psychotherapists are the people who treat these abnormalities and the mental illnesses. Abnormalities and the mental illness. Psychologists and the counselors, psychiatrists treated to the abnormal behaviors and the mental illnesses. So psychotherapists consider unconscious and bringing it up into the conscious layer. So if we can look at the unconscious activities. එතකොට අපිට පුළුවන් නම් අපි බලන්න මේ මොනවාද, what are the unconscious things in our life. So in a different forms, in a different ways, we take those unconscious things into the conscious layer. එතකොට අපි ඒකට ටෝච් එකක් ගන්නවා වගේ බලනවා. අපි එළිය කරලා බලනවා මොනවාද මගේ හිතේ. I think you have heard the hypnotism. Hypnotism means අපි කියන්නේ මෝහනය කරනවා කියලා. Hypnotism. So this is the process that take the unconscious matters into the conscious layer. We take step by step those unconscious matters. අපිට අවිඥානයේ රැඳිලා තියෙන දේවල්, අපිට touch කරන්න බැරි දේවල්, we take to the conscious matter. Then we can see the things in a creative way or some positive way manner. We can see the content. මේක මෙහෙමයි, මේක වෙන්නේ නැත්තේ මෙහෙම නිසා අම්මා මට ආදරේ නැහැ කියලා මම හිතේ තියෙනවා නම් එතකොට ඒක මේ affect වෙන්න පුළුවන් අපේ mental life එකට. So we can touch the feelings, thoughts in our unconscious life, unconscious mind, and we can bring it into the conscious layer. That process we call hypnotism, or there are some different ways to take the unconscious matters into a conscious mind. Okay, then this is another type of behavior, covered. All the hidden behaviors. We may have the behaviors as a hidden behavior, covered behaviors. It's not open, not expressed directly to the outer world, to others, directly in mind and behavior. So secret things, we may have these different type of secrets. So we do not share the about these behaviors. So we no one knows about the secret things, hidden things in our secret life. So covered behaviors. But there may be, if we want to study these behaviors, there may be some scientific method to observe the behavior, covered behavior, so that this is also can be observed. So no doubt we can observe, we can find any method to observe the covered behavior. Secret things අපිට මොන හරි ක්‍රමයක් හොයාගන්න පුළුවන් කෙනෙක්ගේ secrets හොයාගන්න. And the overt behavior, covered and over, not open. No, there's no any secret. Not secret or hidden. Clearly expressed. Very easy to observe. By looking at their normal behavior, we can understand what the person is. So very easy to understand the person by looking at their overt behaviors, covert and overt, and all animal behavior. In conscious matter, we cannot study the animal behavior because they cannot express their feelings and thoughts using the words. But now the behavior matter, no doubt we can study all living organisms' behaviors by observing the behavior or all type of behaviors. There may be different methods to observe the behavior, so that we can stick to this this definition, study of the behavior of all living creatures. This is what we can agree. Everyone can agree to this definition, because all type of behaviors can be observed of a human being, and through the behavior we can understand the mentality of a organism. So this is the final definition. There are several definitions for the subject. Right now we are here. In the defining of the subject, we can define it as understanding the human behavior scientifically. Human behavior and all living behaviors scientifically. This is what we can summarize. There were 4 definitions, but first 3 definitions were rejected. As a summary, we can stick to the definition of studying human the organisms' behavior, living organisms' behavior is the psychology. Psychology is the science of studying human behavior. So this is what we can agree. So when it comes to the behavior part, there were different type of behaviors come from the motor. If I take you in our first slides, into our first slides. So motor behaviors, just recall your memory. What was the 7-8 type of behaviors? Can you tell me the behavior types? Motor, cognitive and affective behaviors, conscious, subconscious and unconscious behaviors. Can you remember? No one is talking. Motor, cognitive and affective are 3H කියලා මං කියන behavior types 3 තියෙනවා. Motor, cognitive and affective. Then conscious, subconscious and unconscious behaviors, and covered, overt and overt behaviors. So these are the 8 type of behaviors. So we can consider, we can put into the behavior matter, right? So we completed the defining of the subject. So William McDougall and J.B. Watson explained the scientific study of behavior and mental processes in context. So psychology is the science of behavior. This is very very easy to remember. So it includes human and animal behavior. So these are the types of the behaviors or the activities, uh, motor activities, cognitive activities, affective activities. Then conscious and conscious, subconscious, unconscious, and the covert and overt. There are three type of activities which we can observe. If you want to observe one's behavior, we should understand all 8 types, covert and overt. මොනවද මේ තියෙන ඒවා. First we need to uh, check their motor skills, motor behaviors or skills, then cognitive abilities, then the affective abilities, then the feelings and thoughts comes under the conscious, subconscious and unconscious, and covert and overt. These are the activity types or the behavior types. So if I ask question which regarding the behavior or activities that we want to focus our attention with related to the behaviorism, you have to mention motor, cognitive, affective, yeah, conscious, unconscious, covered, overt, and all the animal behaviors. So as a what we call the summary, you have to keep these things in your mind. Okay, good. This is how we define the subject. Now we have completed the first topic of our curriculum, and there's another topic. And there was two names, psychiatrist and psychologist, or two different subjects. So we want to know the difference between these two terminologies. Otherwise we will as a people who know the psychology, we should know the meaning of these two words, two terminologies. Psychology versus psychiatry. Or psychologist is a profession. Psychologist is a person who treat for the psychological illnesses, and there's a person or the doctor called psychiatrist. So two different occupations or two different professionals, right? Psychiatry and the psychologist. So do you know the difference? Who is the psychologist? Who is the psychiatrist? Psychiatrists are the trained medical doctors, right? This also comes under your curriculum. So you should know these differences. Psychiatrists are trained medical doctors. They are trained medical doctors. Okay. Trained medical doctors means they have the MBBS knowledge, MBBS degree. They have the MBBS, which means we can easily call them as a doctors. They have the knowledge on physiology. Physiology means the physical structure of a human being. Physiology. They know how to form a human body. For the nerves, how to form the muscles and the structure, body chemistry. They know everything, and they know the medicines. They have studied the medicines or the treatment for the different type of illnesses. They know everything about the human body and the body chemistry. Okay, as a medical doctor. As a medical doctor, he's a normal general doctor, and he uh, in his postgraduate studies, they have specialized in the psychology. They have specialized in the psychology. So then we talk them psychiatrists. They know about the human body chemistry, and the formation of body, everything. Doctors හැමදේම දන්නවනේ. So they about the human body. So they are psychiatrists, and they have learned about the psychology also. They have specialized the psychology. Psychology means the illnesses, sorry, mental illnesses, and the treatment, causes for the mental illness. Causes means reasons for the mental illnesses, and how to treat for the mental illnesses using medicines. So the other psychologists cannot use medicines, but psychiatrists can use medicines as a treatment method, because they know everything about the medicines. මේ රෝගයට ගැලපෙන බේත මෙන්න මේකයි. medicine type ගැන ඒගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා. ඒ වගේම ඒගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා treatments for the mental illnesses. So they can prescribe medications. They can give the medical treatments. They are working in the hospitals. They can prescribe කියන්නේ මේගොල්ලන්ට දෙන්න පුළුවන් බෙහෙත් තුණ්ඩුවක් ලියලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්, which the psychologist cannot do. ඒගොල්ලන්ට බෑ. ඒගොල්ලෝ behavioral therapies විතරයි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ they are not trained medical doctors. Medical doctor කෙනෙකුට විතරනේ බෙහෙත් දෙන්න පුළුවන්. So psychologists, මනෝවිද්‍යාඥයින්ට බෑ. මේ මනෝ ව්‍යාධිවේදීන් කියලා කියන්නේ මේ psychiatrist ලාට. මනෝ මානසික ව්‍යාධීන් ගැන ඒගොල්ලන්ට ව්‍යාධිය කියන්නේ illnesses. So මනෝව්‍යාධිවේදීන්ට පුළුවන් බෙහෙත් දෙන්න. Psychiatrists spend much time with patients to treat in the hospital. They are working in the hospital, so they spend much time with the patients to treat. So different type of patients. There may be some higher, or the what we call higher mental illnesses in the patients in the hospital. So they can give the medicines to them, and they can work with the patients. And when it comes to the psychology or the psychiatrist, psychology means focus extensively on psychotherapies. They do not use the medical treatments. They can't prescribe medicines. Focus on psychotherapy. Without using medicines, there are treatments. We can treat without using medicines. So medicines needed only for few psychological illnesses. Very few illnesses needed the medicines. All the other psychological illnesses or mental illnesses can be treated using this psychotherapy. I think you all can understand what I meant. So here most of the mental illnesses can be treated using therapeutic treatments. Therapeutic අපි ඒකට කියන්නේ therapy එකකින් හොඳ කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒවා මේ අපේ අර body chemistry එක වෙනස් වෙලා නෙවෙයි, පස්සේ වෙනස් වෙයි. හැබැයි අපි කියනවා මේවට බොහොම mild mental illnesses such as phobias or stress related mental illnesses, or different mild mental illnesses due to phobia, stresses. So there are some kind of stress-related diseases like such as uh, 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 hyperactive diseases, hypoactive diseases means the people who do not active as requests required. So there are different type of mental illnesses which we can treat uh, psychological treatments. So psychologists use these psychological treatments such as relaxation method, and there are different psychological treatment methods. So they use these treatments. Treating emotional and mental suffering with behavioral intervention. So they treat emotional emotional problems and mental sufferings. Some they may having some sufferings with the mental illnesses, mental sufferings. So mild type of mental illnesses, we treat them with the behavioral intervention. We can change their suffering with the behavioral treatment. So this is not related with the medical treatments. So psychologists cannot prescribe the medicines. They cannot give the medicines because we do not know the body chemistry or the the physical structure. We are not aware. Psychologists learn about the psychological diseases and the behavioral therapies. So theories related to diseases, and they know how it affect to the human behavior and how to treat them using behavioral therapies. That part do the psychologist, and qualified to conduct psychological testing. There are different type of personality testing or the motivational testing. There are different type of psychological tests to be checked, the mental illnesses, mental strengths, mental capacities of a human being, so that the psychologists can use these tests, psychological testing. Okay, this is the difference between psychiatry and the psychology. Psychiatrist and the psychologist, two different professionals, and two different areas, two different subjects. So you should understand what the difference is. Okay. Now I think you have understood. Have you? Now can you understand the difference? So when at and where to meet the psychologist and psychiatrist? How do you decide it? Now it's for your time to open your mouth, or you can just send as usual. You can send the chat, send a message to into the chat room. When and where to meet? I think you should have this knowledge. At what time we should meet the psychiatrist, and at what time we should meet the psychologist. And you can put your names into the chat box. කොහොමද ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ හිතන්නේ මේ සයිකියාට්‍රිස්ට් කෙනෙක් හම්බෙන්න ඕන කොයි වෙලාවද, සයිකොලොජිස්ට් කෙනෙක් හම්බෙන්න ඕන කොයි වෙලාවද? How to decide it? මමම කියන්නද ඒක? Yes. If you feel that you are not you are not okay, your mentality is not good enough to concentrate on something, or you feel that you are under stress, or yeah, you cannot concentrate, or you cannot focus your attention into one thing, or you feel you are not well in mentality, your mentality is not good. At that time, you can meet a psychologist. Always try to meet psychologist before you go to the psychiatrist, because psychologist can use, yeah, in a severe mental illnesses, we have to meet a psychiatric, yes. And in a stress or unconcentrated, we have to meet physiology. On physiology නෙවෙයි. Psychiatry and psychologist. මං කිව්වේ හැමදාම අපි මේක වරද්ද ගන්නවා. මේක physiology නෙවෙයි. මේ බලන්න මේ letters දෙක PHYS තමයි physiology. Physiology කියන්නේ biology වගේම අර කායික විද්‍යාව කියලා කියන්නේ physical body එක ගැන ඉගෙන ගන්න විද්‍යාව තමයි physiology. මේ අපි මේක කියන්නේ psychology and psychiatrist, psychologist, PSY හැමතිස්සෙම එන්නේ. PH එකක් දැක්ගත්තොත් වෙනස් වෙනවා. හරි ඔයා දීලා තියෙන ආන්සර් එක හරි. හැබැයි psychology and psychiatrist. Yes, if we feel that you cannot concentrate, ඔයගොල්ලෝ හරියට හරි නැත්නම් ඔයාට ඇහෙනවා කියලා හිතෙනවා නම් මොන හරි අමුතු ශබ්ද, severe mental illnesses, you cannot continue your normal mental life, normal life in your normal life, then you should meet psychiatrist. Normally, first you can meet the psychologist. After that, the psychologist will refer you to a specific psychiatrist. ඒකට ඒගොල්ලෝ රිෆර් කරනවා ඔයගොල්ලන්ව මෙන්න මේ දැනට තියෙන පුළුවන් නම් ට්‍රීට්මන්ට් කරන්න ඒගොල්ලෝ behavioral therapy වලින් ට්‍රීට්මන්ට් කරයි. එහෙම නොවුනොත් the patients may directed to the psychiatrist. පස්සේ තමයි patients ලව psychiatrist ළඟට යවනවා ඒගොල්ලෝ. So we should think when we are to meet the psychologist and psychiatrist. So this is also a must. Okay. History of psychology. History. So you should know what the history is. So here I have mentioned few factors, but this is not the whole history. You can find the history about the subject. So history also you should know. Although the science of psychology started in the late 1800s, the concept has been around a lot longer. So the psychology concept was very long history, having a very long history. So, excuse me. So, in the history, there was evidence of trepanation. Trepanation is a treatment type used in a very used in the Stone Age. Actually, it's a Stone Age. So, trepanation is the cutting holes into a skull. The skull, you know, our head, they have cut off a hole to let evil spirits. So they believe this evil spirits, ආදුනික නැත්නම් අద్భుත spirits මොන හරි තියෙනවා බලයක් when it comes to the mental illnesses. So if people suffered with the mental illnesses, they believe that we should cut the holes in a skull. Skull අදන්න ඕනේ මෙන්න මේ වගේ තැනකින්. We call it frontal lobe in the now we call frontal lobe. මේ frontal lobe එක තමයි අපේ සිතුවිලි වලට බලපාන lobe එක. මේ frontal lobe එකේ පොඩි සිදුරක් කපලා මේ භයානක භූතයෝ ඉන්නවා කියලා හිතලා තියෙනවා. මේගොල්ලෝ ලෙඩ කරන මෙයා අයින් කරන්න. So they have cut. So it's not we can see the skulls with this hole. So they believe that if we cut holes in the skull, then these evil spirits go out. So this was an opinion, and it's a belief in the Stone Age. බොහොම ඈත කාලේ ගල් යුගයේ ඉඳලා මේක තිබිලා තියෙනවා. So it's like a bad movie. So you can find information related to the history of psychology. The psychologists, what was their teaching, how they what we call how they support to development of the subject. Likewise, you should know, at least you should learn about few psychology. So I will give you an assignment with regarding the history. You should I will finalize the assignment and I will send to you so that you can finalize. You can submit the assignment. You can finalize the assignment. It can be considered as a continuous assessment. So then, no, actually there were different names, different personalities who involved to develop the subject from 1800 onwards. So you need to collect the information with regarding the personalities, right? That is about the history of psychology. Okay, and there is another topic, branches of psychology. So I will take 5 minutes to explain the branches. So at the same time you can send your registration numbers to save the attendance. Okay, to the chat you can send your registration numbers, right? Put all the registration numbers into the chat session, okay, so that I can mark your attendance. Okay, we will go through the branches. Okay, branches means that we can divide it into 2 categories, the subjects, right? One is pure psychology and the applied, pure and applied. And under the pure psychology, it gives us the framework and theory of the subject. It discusses the different psychological areas are there. It discusses about the theories and the framework of the subject. Theories and the framework of the subject. It is under the pure psychology. Pure, natural, called like natural or pure psychology. and it formulates psychological principles and theories. There are theories and principles related to the subject. Okay, I think you have heard about the motivational theories or the personality development theories. There are different type of theories, social or the learning theories, different type of behavioral theories. Likewise, there are different theories. So all these principles and theories comes under the pure psychology, pure psychology, when considered as pure psychology, principles and theories. And the pure psychology suggests various methods and techniques for the analysis, assessment, how to do the modifications of a behavior, and how to improve the behavior. So they give the insight. They give the insight. They suggest. They give the reasons for various. They introduce various methods to use or to be used to understand the human behavior, or different type of methods, techniques, technologies for analysis the human behavior, assess the human behavior, to modify the human behavior, and to improve the human behavior. That means මේ පියෝ සයිකොලොජිස්ට්ලා කියලා ඒගොල්ලෝ කරන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ තමයි සබ්ජෙක්ට් එකේ බේසික් එක හදාන්නේ. පියෝ අnder පියෝ සයිකොලොජි or පියෝ සයිකොලොජිස්ට්ස් දෙකම අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන්. බේසික් එක හදනවා කොහොමද මොනවද theories ඇයි මෙහෙම දේවල් වෙන්නේ. They conduct the experiments, they conduct the research, different type of research using people or animals. They introduce new facts, theories, reasons, results. We call them pure psychologists. Pure psychologists. And when it comes to the applied psychology, we relate, we use all the theoretical concepts into the practical world. Application of psychological rules, principles, and the theories and techniques to real life situation. So here we apply the psychological theories, rules into the practical situation. So sometimes to treat the patients, we use the theories introduced by the pure psychologists, or methods introduced by the pure psychologists, techniques introduced by the pure psychologists. Likewise, we use the applied psychologists, or under the applied psychology, they do not invent the methods. They don't bother about the methods, but they use methods developed by the pure psychology. That is the main difference. Okay, so there are two type of branches coming under the pure psychology and the applied psychology. We will go through each and every branch. So under the pure psychology, there are branches called general psychology, abnormal, social, experimental, physiological, parapsychology, geopsychology, developmental psychology. Likewise, there are different names, psychological names, or branches of different areas. And applied under the applied psychology, educational, clinical, industrial, how to apply the theories into the real world. That is what we call application side, applied psychology, military, political, health. Likewise, there are different type of applications. Okay, I have learned Buddhist psychology. So likewise, there are different type of applications comes under the same subject called psychology, pure and applied. So we will go to the go to each and every part in next week. So general psych, so you can find the meanings of about the educational psychology, what is the meaning of clinical psychology or abnormal social, what are the theories that they have invent. Likewise, you can find information with related to these areas, right? These are the branches. We will discuss about these branches in our next session. Okay, now the time for the question and answering session. If you have any question, please raise. Uh, please mention your question with related to today's area. So if I brief the content for a while, we discuss about the definition for the psychology behavior, study of the behavior. So there we discussed, මම දැන් මතකයෙන් මේ කියන්නේ අපි behavioral types so activity types 8ක් ගැන කතා කරා. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඇඟිලි බල බල ගණන් කරන්න මොනවද මේ 8 කියලා. මොනවද? first පිළිවෙලට ගියොත් අපිට හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න ලේසියි. අපි memory ගැන අපි ඉගෙන ගන්නවා under the educational psychology. So if we want to take in a proper way, we have to insert or we have to insert the data in a systematic way. අපි අර computer data feed කරනවා වගේම තමයි අපේ memory එකටත් අපි හරියට proper විදිහට අපිට out එළියට ගන්න ඕන නම් අපි feed කරන්නත් ඕන හරි proper විදිහට systematic way systematically we have to feed the data into our brain or our system. So there were eight type of activities. First one is motor, cognitive, affective, motor, cognitive, affective. Then conscious, unconscious, and conscious, subconscious, and unconscious, and covert and overt. These were the 8 type of activities which we could include into the behavior types. So we can recall it, and after that we discuss about the difference between psychiatrist and the psychologist. So that also you have to keep in your mind. So if I ask, who is the psychologist? Who is the psychiatrist? So you can find the answers for those questions. You should find the answers for these questions. Then you want to find the information related to the history. You need to find the information related to the history, and it's like a movie. In the stone age, trepanation was discussed. Trepanation is cutting holes in our skull. So this is also we discussed. Then we came to the place where we discussed the branches. So there we divided into 2, pure and applied. මම දැන් SPR ගැන කියන්න පුළුවන්. අපි මේ දැන් කතා කරපු දේවල්. pure psychology කියනවා මොනවාද theories, principles කොහොම හඳුන්වලා දෙනවා. applied එකේදී they apply those theories, rules, principles into the real world. That is what we call pure and applied. And I have given some branches which are related to the pure psychology and both applied psychology. So here we end our session. If you have any question, please ask. Any doubt? If you don't have, we can wind up the session. I think you all have. Yeah. Do you have any problem? Okay, I will finish the class now. Thank you very much for listening. I think you all have sent the numbers. Okay, we'll finish. Okay.